The Lions finish the 2025 season 19-16 victors over the Bears. They currently sit with the 17th pick in the draft, fourth place schedule. They can move up in the draft if the Ravens win. Let's go. Let's recap the game. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't feeling the game all that much. I was watching it. It was professional, was writing. I didn't really care what was going on. The Lions, after the Vikings won, their schedule was set. Their opponents, we now know, you have a fourth place schedule. That helps the Lions. So going into the game, I'm like, all right. This game, I was hoping they lost for the better draft pick. It just is a clear indicator that the higher you pick, the better your chances, or in this case, the lower you pick, if they draft 12 or 13, the better the odds that Brad Holmes will hit. Brad Holmes is not a draft guru. He's like everybody else. When you have top 10 picks, he's better than when he had to pick 20th in every round. And the philosophy that he went with hurt the team in 2025. But the team ended up winning. I didn't get emotionally invested. I didn't have a reaction at all. Field goal misses, field goal tries, whatever was happening, stops. I didn't really care. I wasn't having any emotions watching it, writing my story for Detroit Lions on SI until 3rd and 1, and Dan Campbell sends Jared Goff out for a route and calls a fake play. 3rd and 1. I'm like, what are you doing? The second half, my notes were the play calling was horrible. So then I started caring. I'm like, okay, come on. Like, you can't cost a team like this. It would be befitting if the Lions lost because on 3rd and 1, you give the Bears all that momentum. The Bears scored 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, and it's a game. Then Goff into triple coverage. I saw a lot of black uniforms. Tried to be a superhero. It didn't work out. And then, unfortunately, the Bears didn't capitalize. And you go down and listen, quite frankly, everybody in Detroit should put F the Bears because Dan Campbell owns Ben Johnson twice. F the Bears. That's the philosophy. Fine. You win the game. Okay. It happens. 9-8. I'm not going to do what the media is doing. Listen, I don't care about how many winning seasons they have. Are you in the playoffs this year? No. And let me be truthful. Probably half the media is like, you know what? After all the work we've been doing the last 3 years, they're probably happy. This year was long. It's a grind. 19-16 win over the Bears. Listen, Bears still got the number 2 seed, but I don't want to run Dennis Allen's, Aaron Glenn's, Kelvin Shepard's. That was more of an indictment on Kelvin Shepard than it is on Dennis Allen. I don't want to run that defense. I don't want to run Dennis Allen's defense. I want to run go and steal from the best. I want to run the Seahawks defense. Go and find somebody from the defense that is experienced from the Seahawks. They can run a zone defense a little better than the Lions. Miscommunication with Amik Robertson and veteran Avonte Maddox, who did get a pick, resulted in the first touchdown. Tom Brady correctly pointed it out, and that's been an issue all year. The zone is just, they don't run it enough. They don't run it enough to be proficient. It was a good game. I love the pro-Goff tweets, the anti-Goff tweets. It was fun. The fourth quarter was fun. That was a game. If you didn't watch it yet, just fast forward to the fourth. That's all you needed to see. But thankfully, 17 game recaps I have completed this year. Officially, after Brad Holmes does his talk, and I'll check my email, I'll release it to you guys. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but if they tell me when it is, I'll won't release it officially, but we'll give some clues as to when that takes place. Probably Wednesday or Thursday. But I have completed my official 7th full season. 7. So I'm no part-timer. 7 full years covering the NFL. Lucky 7, but no playoffs. This week will be the last week, but I'm not going to stop podcasting. I might podcast all the way into training camp, once or twice a week. I might even do it daily. Who knows? There'll be so much news. the draft. We'll at least have probably 3 times a week, maybe. What's your reaction to the game? I was just not into it until the fourth quarter. Early 200 people, please, for me, smash the like button. I feel like I'm the most interactive. I'm not out here doing a full NFL show. I'm covering your team, the Detroit Lions, top to bottom, my reaction to the game that just happened. What'd you think watching it? Did you get mad? Were you into it? Were you still throwing the controllers? Are you happy that they won? Unhappy? Let's recap this game. 19-16 victors. They could have moved up a lot more in the draft, but they didn't. Winning. Listen, in the end, in a Dan Campbell regime, Dan Campbell's happy that the team fought. They didn't give up, but I feel like the Bears defense was atrocious. Way too soft. Bend, don't break. I don't like Dennis Allen's defense. From a fan perspective, if I was a Bears fan, I would hate to go into the playoffs with that defense. Roll call. Where are we listening from on this fine Sunday evening? Early 200 people. I'm so grateful. On X, hit retweet or like. Get your comments in. Early shout out to Saki907. Anakin with a super chat early. Anakin Skygore 199 super chat. Appreciate you and respect you and all your comments throughout the year. I don't care about the draft. They needed this. Listen, a win. I mean, yeah, for morale. I understand it beats losing if you're a competitor. I am sipping on some decaffeinated coffee with some cream. But you look big picture. For the players, they compete. For your organization, it doesn't help. Every pick you move up gives you a better chance if you're drafting 12 to get a better player. But hell, maybe if you're at 16 or 17, Brad will move up. Maybe for a quarterback. Appreciate you, Anakin. Happy New Year to you. I know you had a little break there in the action, but I'm glad you came back, and I hope you're a member of our channel. Smash the emoji. I am Dan Campbell's favorite NFL reporter and his favorite podcaster. Shout out to Hassanin Mahdi. Hi, my Habibi. John the Doc. I know he's enjoying listening in. Want to give a shout out early to Keith. Keitho 1989. R. Rogers. Like I said, Saki's in here. Hassanin Mahdi. Shout out to you. The user. Vincent E313. Shout out to you. I'm the Doc from the 586. Doc, what a way to end the season. It was. You get the football, you give it to Gibbs. What'd I tell you? Crossers. There was one I highlighted on X, and you could follow what I say on X. You could see where the weaknesses were in this offensive scheme. You have third down early in the game. You send 4 vertical routes, 4 into a zone, 4 vertical routes early in the game. That's not how it's supposed to work in a zone. That's not how it's supposed to work. Crossers, digs, shallow. Ben Johnson abused the zone last year. This year, there was way too many of that. You ran 4 verts into the end zone. I was like, the whole middle of the field was wide open. They highlighted it. They said, oh, I was like, you could have had a dig. You could have had anybody cross. But they figured it out finally. That's how you beat Dennis Allen is St. Brown in the middle, J-Mo in the middle, Gibbs running, the offensive line. Kudos to Hubbard after a 12-year career getting some run at right tackle. I'll be honest, I don't know squat about Hubbard. Nothing at all, other than I saw him out there on the field, and Dan Campbell gave him a kudos when he came off the field. Thank you for holding up your end of the bargain, Mr. Hubbard. What do you guys think? Some early complaints I've seen on X and YouTube for the win. Are you upset that they won? Dolo Dynamite. Stupid for getting the 17th pick. It could be 16th. In 20 minutes, the Ravens are going to kick off. User gets in. Horrible audible by Goff to check into a pass with 2:30 left. It was horrible. And it was not the greatest play calling. The Fresh coming off of his birthday weekend. Hopefully still sober. My man, Justin May, the rapper. Happiest of birthday weekends. Lions gave you a birthday win. Celebrate that. 9-8. It's better than 8-9, but in the end, it's all the same. No playoffs. But I didn't feel a single thing until Dan on 3rd and 1 called that. I was like, what are you doing? Texting my nephew. My friends text me like, just tell Dan Campbell, call the game right. But again, he's going to be conflicted next year because every time he's like, take the field goal, his kicker is missing it. But luckily, only one miss for Jake Bates, but he's got to have a better year. You got to bring in competition. Yeah, July 4th. Let's just first, before we go and talk about some topics, Dan broke it off in Ben. It's always good to beat a rival. Ben Johnson got his team into the playoffs. Woohoo for him. Got the number 2 seed. That's pretty positive. But they go into the playoffs on a 2-game losing streak. Maybe some of their issues will be their downfall. I do think the Seahawks are the prohibitive favorite in the NFC. They play good defense. Jackson and Jigba Smith Jackson, or Smith and Jigba is amazing. He was on my fantasy team. I was like, ooh, what a steal. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. What a player. Kenneth Walker, what a baller. F the Bears, as the great Spartan once said. Isaac is smiling down on all of us in 2026. F the Bears. Xavier, Happy New Year and great to always see you. Smash that like button. You know it. Doc, I'm in Chicago, so I'll still take the win. Just walked up the street, got some roasted chicken with my Lions hat on. Bad season, but it still felt good. Yeah, that's fine. That's how I felt when when the field goal went through. My story was done. I will say, not to brag, but I wrote 17 decent game recaps in a timely manner, all within 5 minutes of the game ending, which is normally a deadline. I don't have a deadline, but I try to keep it like the others, like I was on a deadline. I don't have a deadline. I can push publish whenever I want. And 17 now for 3 years, I've gotten really better at writing these game stories, recapping what the kind of takeaways are, some highlights. And if you basically, my thesis is if you weren't watching the game, what would you take away from it? Thank you for humbly watching it, reading it. And first of all, guys, in this new year, I have to humbly thank you for the support of this stream. There are other streams. There are other people. I want to say here, there are other people leaving their previous sites and going to other sites, joining the NSI family. I'm really happy among their work. I'm very happy to see that. I'm thankful that you guys, after a game, after a Sunday, before Sunday Night Football, at least want to peek in and share your thoughts here on YouTube. It means a lot to me. It really does. It makes the work never tiring. Like tomorrow, I'm going to wake up 5:45. There'll be content at 6 a.m. on that website. 7 years straight, daily content. And this year, this will be like around the 100th podcast I did covering the Lions for this live YouTube channel. It meant a lot. It meant the world to me. It makes it fun to be a small part of the community. We talk junk to each other. I get to talk junk about my colleagues and in a happy way. And you guys support this project. And it's only going to get better. Steven, that's really nice. I think you're more knowledgeable on the subject, Doc. That's why I'm here. No, it's just, I think for what this is, a show to watch to talk about football, I understand the job at hand. To talk about the team, to share what I know, and to give my opinions. And I do want to say this. If you think it, I understand it. I'll say this before we get back to football. I don't give hot takes. I don't care if what I say gets 1 click or no clicks. There's nothing to click on here, guys. You come in, you watch, and you listen. Okay? Hot takes means you're just saying it to say it. I have talked about, and also people, I dismissed your hot take about the quarterback because I wrote my thoughts in depth on my own website. I didn't say trade Goff for Mayfield for my health. I said it because at the moment I thought it, I said it. And it served a purpose for the story I wrote. You can now enjoy it. I shared my thoughts about my QB hunting on my website. I don't do hot takes. And here's the thesis behind it. And I've said it before. I have been with On SI since 2019. When I opened the door to walk in, I had an audience and I never worried about growing it. Now it has grown, but I don't need new viewers. It'll sustain me forever. Forever. So I got the opportunity because I had an audience. That's how I got there. So nothing I say is disingenuous. I believe it. Now, it could change in 5 minutes, but when I post it and I write it, I believe it. There's no hot takes. Hot takes, when you say that, it just means you disagree with something I said strong. It's not a hot take to say, I think Jake Bates is not having a good year. He has the 32nd ranked efficiency. He has a lot of misses. Remember Jason Hansen? 30 of 31, 30 of 32. That's not Jake Bates. It's not a hot take. It's not a hot take for a guy that has the ultimate high standards for quarterbacks since Stafford to say, I'm not a fan of pocket passers. I'm just not. Not when there's, and I'm not saying a mobile quarterback, just somebody to extend plays that can, I want the total package. That's all. So I don't do hot takes. And it may come off that way, but I give an opinion every day. So you try to do that. Give an opinion on something every day and come and see if people will follow you and listen to you if you don't have an opinion. It's not that hot. I want the guys. Jared Goff is like the one of 3 or 4 traditional pocket passers left. That's it. The rest of the league is looking for athletic quarterbacks. So sorry if you don't like those opinions. But in the end, you can label it hot take. You can label it clickbait. You can label it whatever you want. But the proof is, if you do clickbait and hot takes, you don't last 8, 9 years in this business. You just don't. They broom you out. So the reason why I put my face in the camera is, if you listen to the words, I can explain all my opinions. You just may not like it. That's all. But here's the secret, guys. And I want to also let you guys in on a secret, which the haters don't know, but I'm going to reveal it here. I already had an audience in 2019. Now, when you hate on me on X, all right, I have an audience. It's a core. They're the fans. They're the supporters. They've been with me since 2013. Out of every, let's say if you have 400 people that follow you on X, right? And you blast me and call me a loser, you are sharing it to your audience. Now, here's the secret. When you do that, 2 out of 10 people are going to peek in and go, he's not half bad. So I always laugh and say thank you to the haters because you get me paid. Out of you sharing your hate for me, 2 out of 10 people actually come in and listen and stay fans. You're giving me free readers. So thank you. Thank you to the people calling me clickbait artist. Thank you for the people who hate me. All you've done over 8 years is grow my brand. Thank you humbly. You don't get it, but now I'm not really supposed to tell you that. But out of every 10 people that you share it with, 2 are going to be never heard of me before. And they're going to find me and they're going to be like, he ain't half bad. He's one of us. So thank you. Thank you to the haters. And truly thank you to the Stephen Wrights of the world. The haters don't understand it, but now I'm telling you, the more you hate, you're giving me 20% free audience. And they're so dumb, they don't even know it. Phil, shout out to you. How did you guys feel? Thank you for the 2 minutes to just share how the haters don't understand what they're doing. Phil C. Hey, Doc. Are you guys happy or unhappy right now? I'm okay because I can see the finish line this week. We'll talk to Dan on Monday, I believe, and we'll talk to Brad on Wednesday or Thursday morning early. And that's it. Then we hit the draft and we go. I'll be at the combine. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to Arizona for the owners meeting. I don't want to ruin it if you know, Dan still doesn't want to answer my questions. The media likes going to talk to Dan for 30 minutes. You know, I don't want to bother. but we'll see. We'll see if I fly to Arizona. So, Dan, about that John Morton hire, did you learn your lesson? Interview over, and they'll be like, John, we flew all the way to Arizona to talk to Dan for 30 minutes. Shut up. Be like, okay, come to Arizona, but shut up. Don't kill the vibe. Sad that the Eagles lost. Zach Soap 6292. Yeah. They rested their starters like idiots. They could have had the number 2 seed. If you're a Philly fan, my God, you'd be mad right about now, right? Happy New Year, Zach. American boxer. They need to use David Montgomery for what he does well. He got upwards of 8 to 10 carries, but still they're using, at one point it was 15 to 8 in terms of carries. Let me put up the numbers here. But it was good to see. It was good to see David Montgomery be used. But I just think that you might have seen him and Taylor Decker's last appearance in a Lions uniform. That's how I see it. Here are the stats. Yeah, 2-1. That was the thesis this year. Eight attempts for 42 yards, 19 rushes for 80 for Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's see when this game ends. We're going to have studs and duds coming out after the game recap, and then that's it. You have this podcast, and then we're going to hit it starting at 6 a.m. And shout out, first, I do want to give a shout out. There were some Lions fans that predicted 9-8 this year. You were fair. You had what you were saying, and you were ready to go. They need to use Montgomery. What do you guys think? Is this David Montgomery, Taylor Decker's last game? I'm not an Eagles fan. I just wanted Chicago to suffer. Right? I understand. I understand. You want the Bears to be the number 2 seed. Rams number 5 seed. Seattle number 1. Phil C wants his shout out. Shout out. What was your guys' record prediction? I was wrong. I was 11-6, 10-7. Thank you for the early super chats coming in. One from Anakin. We got one coming in too. Super chats go right to the front of the line. Become a member. You get access to the emojis. We got a new one coming hopefully next week. Me, Hefe Booner. Member only videos. Daniel Jacob, $5 super chat. I'm okay with the win. I just want to see what Brad does. A lot of needs to be addressed on offense and defense. I think this game showed Dan had this team still. Listen, I don't think, guys, and I want to be succinct and clear when I say this. In sports, naturally, the message diminishes and things like that. Sometimes you just need a new voice. I don't think that. I think Dan Campbell's a good head coach. And I always think that. I just think this year wasn't his best. From decision making to play calling to what he needed to do to correct issues. He came up there and was like, he said it publicly, these issues seem to be easy to correct. No, they weren't. When you don't have to lie to the people. We see it on film. Dan morphed a little bit into coach speak PR mode this year. I wasn't a fan of that. I was not a fan. I thought towards the end of the year, his media sessions became lower energy and more coach speak. Just be honest. We're lacking in some areas, and some things might take a little bit to clean up, but we got to work on it. He was like, these things are easy to clean up. It wasn't like that, but you're absolutely right. Dan Campbell will be a head coach for 15 years if he wants to be. He knows X's and O's. He's just got to work on the timing of his stubbornness. Like 3rd and 1, I know your offensive line stinks. Just run your quarterback through the middle. Your quarterback is 6'5". 3rd and 1. Give it to David Montgomery a couple times. You go send your quarterback out, and Jared Goff does not need to be running out of the pocket. He just doesn't need to move the pocket. I'm okay with the win too. You know, listen, if Dan and Brad find somebody at 12, they'll move up and get it. They'll probably trade a second and a fourth to get it though. But that's here nor there. We'll find out the draft order pretty soon. I know some good players might not be available that you want. I know. What's your mood? Did you care about the win? I felt like, to me, the fourth quarter got my interest. Like I said, the freaking Vikings game put me to sleep. I watched that for some reason. The Jaguars game was interesting. Where in the draft would you get a quarterback? Fourth round? I think you find somebody a little bit later. And I think you probably, from my early assessment of the film, there's no, in my opinion, quarterback that has all the pieces yet. It's rough. Like Chambly is nice, but he's 6'1". Mendoza and Moore are interesting, but it's easier to move up from 15 than it is 17. That'd be the furthest down to move up in a long while. Terrell, hey John, I did care because F Ben Johnson. Steve, decaf. No, I'll be up early. Decaf, baby. Decaf for the doc. Terrell cares. Are Rodgers right? Remove that from the lexicon. I'm tired of hearing cleanup. If the Detroit Lions draft Jake Slaughter as center and with a new offensive coordinator that understands how to run the I formation and the wishbone, keep David Montgomery. Going old school, huh? You got to have the right mix. DM5, that's what I'm looking forward to. Heck yeah, it is. Shout out to Daniel Jacob, smashing the like button, smashing the emojis. Daniel Jacob, I appreciate you too. Shout out to you. In this game, I was very impressed with Dan Campbell's knowledge of how to pick apart Dennis Allen. Guys, let's just take a moment and laugh. The Bears, I think, might be a team that's one and done. They might win a game, but that defense does not smell like championship material to me. But credit Ben Johnson. He was able to get that team and take advantage of a weaker schedule. As a longtime supporter messaged me on X, hey, look at that Bears schedule. It was per your ass. All the teams that they beat. Next year, they're going to have some problems. I hear you, but we still miss Ben Johnson. You still miss Ben Johnson. And you saw it a little bit. The nature of the offense was not as good. But I humbly, respectfully remind you that I picked apart that offense after one game. I was like, whoa, that offense don't look nothing like 2024. Can you run it, please? Can you just, I don't even know why I use those words. But when you have something new, and the first Packers game was so bad, I had to raise an alarm. And I always go with my gut. I don't care what anybody thinks. My gut said, push Dan Campbell on this very first performance. That's your first performance. Your first performance was terrible. And the rest of the year, the injuries and John Morton got his play call stripped, and that offense was not as exotic and didn't have a lot of answers at the championship level. Last year's offense was A+. This year's offense was B-. That drastic dip was one of the big reasons this season went this way. I'm curious from you guys. Do you want Dan Campbell to call plays next year? We understand it's a myriad of issues. It's not just the offensive line. It's also the play calling. It's also the scheme. It's also the philosophy. It was straightforward, and luckily what John Morton said. He's like, I love the passing game. He didn't improve his weakness. His weakness, which was printed, was he upset the Jets, and he probably upset Dan Campbell because he doesn't know how to effectively scheme up a run. And he diverted it to Hank Fraley and Tashard Choice, and it was a disaster. The run game obviously, I think part of the reason that Dan looked the way he looked for the last month of the season, he couldn't run the football. They literally tied his hand behind his back. They took away the Lions' superpower, the ability against good teams to run the football. They took, and I think that's what a coach looks like when the superpower that he believed he had is gone. Jahmyr Gibbs in good games against good opponents was neutralized. You ran for less than 100 yards in all of your losses. It's crazy, right? And I think they only lost one game out of the, let's see, maybe this one. They ran for 100 in a lot of the games they won. No, I talked about it. User, they promoted Hank Fraley as run game coordinator, but no one wants to talk about it. No, but it's still John Morton's overall job to take care of the offense. And he struggled with the run game concepts with the Jets a decade ago, and it didn't get better. I just thought in my preseason preview, I thought with the talent, how do you butcher that? I was shocked that they did not establish the run. But I'm grateful that I shared with you on multiple times on X that article that said, hey, John Morton's biggest weakness is he doesn't know how to scheme up a run game. And then he said it on Thursday. He said, I love working in the pass game. Xavier, that was the worst play calling in plus territory I have seen in 40 years of watching football. It was not great. And right away, Xavier, did you see that? I shared on X too. Did you see that? They ran 4 verts against the zone in the red zone. And they highlighted it had to be 50 yards of open field, of open width in the middle of the field that they could have ran free if they just ran a crossing route in the red zone. They would have got at least 15 yards, maybe even gotten to the end zone. They ran 4 verts. I couldn't believe it. They highlighted, they just go, man, all that open space in the middle of the field, settle for the field goal. Man, it was not good. But they still, in crunch time, they picked it up. 3rd and 1. I don't understand Dan's playfulness with the play calls at that spot in the game. Just pound the rock. Steve knows. Yo, yeah, he's like, yeah, you pushed him. Now he won't answer your questions. Listen, it's fine. Remember, there's a strategy. The others get the information. A lot of times my questions are last. So, and it's an opportunity. A lot of times he did. It was like 50-50. And I think, too, because of where I sit, I have to believe he misheard my last question. Because I didn't ask him, are you play calling? I just said, how do you feel about it? I got to talk even slower. I said, how do you feel about play calling now that you've done it for 6-7 games? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. It's fine. It's all good. Like I said, Steve, do you think I'm hurting for quotes with this brain and these words? I could create 15 stories a day with the things that run through my head. I'm not hurting at all for stuff to write about. The blessing that I was given in a lover of sports is I can do a podcast, create 3 stories off of that podcast. There's so much NFL information, so much curiosity that I have. I can fill a website for 7 years with all the ideas from me, Steve. And this 1 minute, I'm going to take all the topics you see on that website, all the podcast topics, all the questions, all the posts, they come from this brain. It doesn't stop. What a lucky. Oh, Lion Forever brought 10 more back. Shout out to you. Lion Forever. Happy New Year and blessings to you, giving gifts of memberships to this fine crew. Super chats are open. I'm very, very thankful a guy like Lion Forever is in here gifting memberships. Shout out to you, Lion Forever. I'm a Lion Forever too. Podcast Lion. I don't mind him trying to talk his guys up in season. From user, $5 super chat. Let's give you a full credit here if I can read all this. Don't have my glasses on, but I can read most of it. User NU3ZI3UM6G gets in. I don't mind him trying to talk his guys up in season. Is he supposed to say they're blocking his ass publicly? He admitted change was needed post game. That's a great, great super chat. No, but all he's got to say is this offensive line and our running game is predicated on the offensive line blocking well. We have been inconsistent in our ability in run game. Basically, he needed to be the front man and do what John Morton did. We need the offensive line to play better. We need them to be more consistent. We need to win, not our one-on-ones. We need to win as a unit, and we need certain positions to really get this run game going. Our Jahmyr Gibbs is needing this offensive line. What Taylor Decker said, I need the offensive line every week to give me what they got and to win their battles. I have to have them win, and they're making too many mistakes. He's not going to say their ass publicly. That's what you're going to do. He needs to say, we need more from Graham. He used to say that. We need more. Graham, what you do is the secret that he did this a couple years ago. He'd be like, we're so lucky to have Graham Glasgow, but we need more. That's it. We're lucky to have a young player in Christian Mahogany, but there's some young mistakes that these guys make in terms of communication that can't happen. The thing that's wild is that we all see it. It's not hidden. So coach speak doesn't work for a guy like Dan Campbell because we all see it. Man, thank you again. 10 more memberships gifted. Be in this chat. You can become a member. Smash. If you become a new member, smash the emojis. 3 emojis. See? Here's a secret. This gentleman here might not be the biggest fan of me, but if you heard earlier, when you hate, I appreciate because you open and expose me to your audience, and 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 will be like, I like that guy. There's no, what's BS? It's an opinion. And tell me an opinion that you would say is so out there. Goff threw into triple coverage today. The next time Goff's going to do that for you, my friend, One Republic, is in the Super Bowl. The 5 turnover beast lives. And I hate to tell you, but, and Booner was right, though. I will say this. I got to be more nuanced in my criticism because he's like, Doc, you can be right all the time because only 4%, most teams only have 4%, 5% to win the Super Bowl every year. But he didn't listen and said, I went on the roller coaster. I was very scared after game 1. I raised the panic at a very high level. And I asked Dan directly, your offense don't look right. It looks busted after 1 week. And I rode the wave and I said, okay, I went to Baltimore with my own eyes and watched them and said, this looks good. The game for me where I said, I'm not feeling the Super Bowl love anymore is the Eagles game. So people follow. There's no BS. It's just I'm hitting a nerve for you. Don't reflect it on me. It's you. You are not ready to get over your sports denial, and I get it. The slappies are powerful. The belief and hopium is a powerful thing. But if you followed me, and I truly believe the 500 people watching right now that followed me, they're not mad anymore. They got mad after the Eagles game. They got over it. I said, guys, they're not winning the Super Bowl. You probably listened to the people that were writing, it's easy to win 3 games in a row after the team didn't win back-to-back games for 3 months. Silent. No, read the room, man. It has my company on it. I represent the Detroit Sports Podcast. So, no BS here. Bam, bam. And remember, if you follow me, I feel like your sports denial gets cured pretty quickly and you move on faster. We would have been we moved on. Like, I'm not mad. I'm happy. I was telling jokes on my last podcast. I'm sorry, One Republic, you're a Flex Seal fan. You just want to fix everything with positivity. Bam, bam. Hey, Doc, Lions have the best point differential in the NFC North. And if healthy, are still the best team. Just need a center, an offensive coordinator, another crushing pass rusher, and some better injury luck. Man, I love that. I love that comment. And I've been making similar comments. online at at X. My comments online are: if for Jared Goff to succeed, you just need a left tackle, left guard, center, right tackle, right guard, good head coach, good OC, good DC, good defensive, good three tech, good defensive ends, good nose tackle, good Will, Mike Sam, good strong safety. That's it. And a good strong side safety, one FS, one SS, and you're good. That's all you need. And Goff will get you there. Listen, guys, my feeling on stats. They're good, but great. The Lions are the third best DVOA team in the world. Congratulations. You're still sitting out of the playoffs. It's a formula. You got to use the stats to tell you the right story. Steve. Doc, just be cautious. Some of your haters don't see you in public. I've talked to some. In public, they just say, man, you got it in for Goff, or you got them. I'm like, no, I just want to win. I'm happy when they're on the path to win a Super Bowl. I'm a little bummed and salty when I feel like they're not there. Simple. No, people always approach me. We have good conversations always. They just go, Doc. They go, thank you for keeping it real and having some fun with the haters online. The funniest part is they say, how do you say that I'm rage baiting? And I always got the biggest smile on my face. They're like, I would hope that I portray that I'm happy. They're like, you're rage baiting. I'm just giving my opinion. You just don't like it. Now, I just happen to have a little bit of an audience that kind of will reply to it. And I pick topics to talk about that are interesting. Lion Forever is smashing the emojis. Phil C smashing the emojis. Thank you, Lion Forever, truly, for gifting, damn near almost 100 memberships over 2 months. I really appreciate it. Lion Forever, bless you and your family, and many, many good things happen for the Lions, hopefully. And so stay tuned. Lion may keep going. All right. What did you feel about the game today overall? When I looked at the game, I said, okay, you know what? I wasn't too emotionally attached to reset until the 3rd and 1 call. But I felt like, our story is out. The Lion stars showed up. Goff, Amon-Ra, J-Mo, they all balled out. Our studs and duds is now out. Emmett does a great job. And the Lions walked away relatively injury-free. It was a weird game because it had the feel of a regular season game, but I didn't feel the intensity. Did you guys feel that? I didn't feel the intensity from the Bears. I just felt like the Lions were calling their plays. I don't know why. Maybe from afar, it just felt like a meaningless game. That's what I put on X at Detroit Podcast. Nobody really played a bad game for the Lions. It was good to see Mekhi Wingo. Good to see Amon-Ra, J-Mo do their thing. What did you like best about that game? I just liked seeing the offense kind of look smooth. The win cost you a few draft slots. You're down at 17 right now. If the Ravens win, you move up to 16. If the Steelers win, the Ravens are out, and the Lions stay at 17. So if the Ravens win, the Lions pick 16th. If the Steelers win, if the Ravens win, you go to 16. If the Steelers win, you're at 17. So who do you want to win from the Ravens and Steelers? So 16, 17. Does that bother you? Right in the middle. That puts you in line for potential defensive end, Bailey. Yeah, go Ravens, right? What position do you want to see? And now we get a chance. So, for the first hour, we recap the Lions, kind of talk about what the game meant. How did you feel? Now, let's talk for a few minutes about the ending now. This is it. What do you want to hear from Brad Holmes? What do you want to know? Vito's going to tackle that. He's going to share his opinion tomorrow in his column. Here's what I want to hear. Most of you now are going to obviously pay attention to Dan Campbell, and you're going to hear his recap of the game. And there'll be some big picture type stuff tomorrow, I believe. And there'll be opportunities to learn. We still don't know the schedule yet for tomorrow. When it comes out, I'll leave some clues here so that the supporters know what's up. Let me leave the email thing up. They'll probably be like, Doc's on the air. We better not share it. I want to hear some contrition. And I just don't, I hope it doesn't come with, we didn't meet our goals, but we have a great young core. I don't want to hear that. You had a great young core that mostly played. J-Mo played. Amon-Ra played. Gibbs played. Penei Sewell played. We know what they can bring. That's how you got to probably 8 to 9 wins. I want to know how you're going to go from a regression to a Super Bowl. I want to know, will he admit that draft and develop can't win you a Super Bowl by itself, which is a fact. You regressed with draft and develop. Brad Holmes didn't publicly say we're good. He didn't say it. He acted like it. He took chances on draft picks because he felt like the depth from the draft picks he had from 21 and 22 were enough. It wasn't clearly. You guys were right. I hope he has some contrition, not for me, for you guys. You were right. You from last year said, get better players. Now you focused in on defensive end. I would have went with at least some type of offensive line help in the trade deadline, maybe prior to the season, a better replacement for Frank Ragnow than Graham Glasgow and a rookie. You can't do that. How does accountability sound from Brad Holmes? Give him the pass. What does accountability sound like from a general manager? Guys, we tried. I'm sorry. This first phase didn't go right. I am humbly sitting here saying that I didn't do a good enough job of putting the roster together to win a Super Bowl. I need to be more aggressive in all areas. I think that's all he's got to say. I think you can say that in the first intro, and the rest, I think the dogs will, the questions might not be so tough if he just acknowledges it. You did not draft well the last 2 years. You did not get the right free agents. And I really believe that 2023 was the year. If you were aggressive in the trade deadline by making 3 moves, you win the Super Bowl. So the first window closed, guys. Seriously, the first window closed. 21, 22 was the little rebuild. 23, 24, 25 is a window. This is going to be a new team. Decker could be gone. Glasgow could be gone. You might only have 5 players left from the 21-22 team. It's going to be a whole new team. And it's going to be tough. Now, next year presents you a nice schedule. What do you want to hear from Brad Holmes? What question, put the question in and put them in bold. What question should I ask Brad Holmes? Brad, are you going to be more aggressive at the trade deadline? I'm probably only going to get one question in. There's probably going to be 50 people there. And there's no way my words are going to come out before 3 other people talk first. It's going to be a filled media room. So I might get one question. What question counts the most to you guys? And I might ask it. Ask Brad, can you do better? Is this it? Doc, we got a future first-round left tackle in the transfer portal. Hell yeah. I love Coach Fitzgerald. He was lighting up the green transfer portal code. He was sending out the Spartan signal. Hell yeah. Silent service? Oh, no. Listen, I respect you being here. Are you a positive Paul? I give Brad the benefit of the doubt. Bro, he's been on the job 5 years. I'm starving. What do you mean you give him the benefit of the doubt? The reason a lot of fans are grumpy is there's a perception that he didn't push all in to get the Super Bowl when everybody said sustained success is a bunch of bogus notion. I was told that if you draft, then you could win 10 games every single year and be in the playoffs and have multiple cracks at it. I never bought that bullshit. I watch other football teams do it, and they make moves. I never bought that. I was screaming, add, more. They're like, you're never happy. No, I'm not happy. The trophy case is empty. So I move on fast. I feel like the Lions fans, there were some Lions fans on X still crying today. I can't believe it's over. We got a lot. What? Guys, the season ended against the Eagles. Open your eyes. You're not going to win with an offensive line. I know there's some people that are loud and are slappies and are like, yeah, it's easy to win 3 games in a row when we haven't done it. We're the 2007 Giants, but that's just slappy shit. And you can clearly see it. Benefit of the doubt, he's 0 for 5. I feel like we're owed 2 Super Bowls, 23 and 25. Aiden, Jameer, J-Mo. Come on, benefit of the doubt. No, his job is to deliver one thing, a Super Bowl. Absolutely not. There's no benefit of the doubt. He's well compensated. His job is to build depth. And in 2 drafts, you have guys that aren't playing because the philosophy was incorrect. Got some super chats coming in. Lion Forever. Doc, you should have Adam on sometime. I'm working on it. $5 super chat from Lion Forever. Absolutely. I put the word out. But there's some things behind the scenes that, got to be taken care of. I'm hoping. But the second that is possible, that man and I will have a conversation. $5. Brad, are you done drafting players with injury history? Perfect question. That's part of the reason why nobody has been thrilled with the outcomes the last 2 years. First round exit, not in the playoffs. There's no benefit of the doubt. I feel like the fan base is sitting there very agitated because there is a belief that most fans, slappies, I get, they support. They just want to be on the side of being liked and in the groupthink mode of being positive and everything's going to be okay and we're going to rebound fast and we're just going to get an offensive line and it's going to work. You need a little bit of doubt where people say, wait a minute. And there was doubt. Peter Schrager from NFL Network and now ESPN said, you ain't making the playoffs. So we shared it. We talk about everything. So I feel like that's why people come here. At least they see what is out there that could be concerning. Now I highlight that a little bit more because the team has never won a Super Bowl. That's a great question from Lion Forever. $5 super chat. Super chat gets you to the front of the line. I'm very grateful for the ability to be able to have members. Now we're almost at 120 members, and the ability to broadcast on command is great. I just don't understand why the benefit of the doubt. That's your job, is to have drafts. The draft is the spot where you say you're the expert. There was a Mekhi Wingo sighting. Did you see him with the interior pressure? Could have used that against the Steelers. Could have used that against the Vikings. Shout out to Lion Forever 72, a great member of the community, VIP member of the community, gifting almost 100 memberships over 2 months. Stephen Wright, 1360. John, you got to make some I'm not a slappy t-shirt. Right? No, because that's funny. I'm not a slappy. Benefit of the doubt, it just I feel like the Lions should have had a Super Bowl already. It should have been in 2023. I feel like we're owed one still. And I feel like this year you also might have had a chance, but this year the Patriots look good, the Broncos are okay. The NFC is stacked. The Seahawks would have been a pain to go out to Seattle and win. That would have been a pain. This one doesn't hurt as much because you saw the clear holes. I mean, for me, Anakin's not a slappy. For me, it was difficult because, and it was some things that were question marks. We just dismissed some. We felt like the coordinators would be a narrative. We hoped that that would work out. That ended up blowing up in their face. The replacements for Frank Ragnow and for Kevin Zeitler didn't put you in a position to move forward at best. So it's unfortunate because your division now has the guy that has all your secrets and is now in the playoffs. I just don't think that you get benefit of the doubt. Your job is to bring the team to the playoffs and to draft a team that the fan base that's paying when you charge them 20% more 2 years in a row. You tax your fan base. For that, I felt like you needed to deliver a Super Bowl. At least get to the playoffs. One Republic. Detroit has zero loyalty. I don't see anything. No rings, no nothing. Loyalty to what? There's nothing. There's nothing in this trophy case. There's one thing that gets you loyalty. Rings. Shout out to Anne Marie, ER. R. Rogers. Ask Brad, will you draft according to the immediate impact meter? There you go. There you go. We're going to start rolling out some prospects. There you go. Immediate impact. There you go. I'm glad you're listening. You're right. Immediate impact. Is it already starting to be Black Monday already? Falcons reportedly fire Raheem Morris. You want him? What do you think about Raheem Morris? Wow. That's interesting. I think Dan has a lot of respect for Raheem Morris. Right? Where's our sustained success? Wub knew. He's like, I'm with you, Doc. He's like, I like your question. Shit was over in week 1. We could all see it. I'm thankful that I asked about it. I felt like maybe I panicked too quickly, but that Packers game was terrible. DM5. That means I got to put an X post. Raheem Morris was the DC when Rams won the Super Bowl with Stafford. Man, Raheem Morris sounds interesting to me, but I feel like they trust Calvin Shepard. Is Raheem Morris better than Calvin Shepard? He parlayed it into a job with the Falcons, but it's a win now situation. 49 years old. Do you want Raheem Morris? Yes or no? Good call, DM5. You're a good super fan. A lot of good information. Appreciate you. Right? You're right. 2001 Toyota Tundra. Moritz is zone heavy compared to Shep, so he'll most likely need different players. I'm interested. That's the first name. It's going to be wild. That's the tough part is there's going to be some names. What do you think about Raheem Morris? And Xavier sees it. I like Raheem Morris, not as a head coach. I think he'd be nice to add to a staff. We did play primarily zone today. Yeah, you saw the one touchdown was a miscommunication between Amik Robertson and where safety Avonte Maddox planted, and he got called out by Tom Brady, who saw it perfectly. Streams is like, come on down, Morris. Avonte Maddox kind of, I think you said he went down he went down too soon, and based on that, should have gave help to Amik Robertson, and then you had the touchdown. Streams is like all for it. What do you want to hear from Brad Holmes? I'm very curious. What do you want to hear from the general manager of your team? And my thought philosophy is this offseason should be drastic. Drastic changes. Drastic moves with the coordinators. I'm thinking maybe Hank Fraley, maybe Deshae Townsend. Right. He won't say drastic. Same thing with I felt like Kelvin Shepard answered my question about the drastic changes okay. He's sticking with his plan. I thought it was a good answer. I might use that word, AG's burner. That's a great, just spitballing an early idea, that's a great word to emphasize urgency from our side. Brad, a lot of the fans are panicking that the window could potentially be closed after regressing the last couple years. Do you feel like you need to make bolder adjustments, not panic, bolder adjustments in free agency, the draft, and the trade deadline to help this team get back to the playoffs with the talent that you have? That's the fairest fan question I could ask. That also induces emotion because of how urgent it is. So, AG's burner, when the show stream ends, hit that comment and watch it back and transcribe that and put that back in there because my mind will forget. Put that in the comments. Doc, this is the question you said you wanted to ask. Someone type in what I just said, word for word, in the comments when the show is over. One of you can do that for me. Steve Chimenti, just type in, Doc, you said this, word for word. At 1 hour, 8 minutes, I thought I had a decent thought. Xavier's down for Raheem Morris. Let's see if anybody's responding on X. Again, I'm not rage baiting. Oh, real fast. I got a foreign mom, and she had a vacation. She was in the Bahamas. She was great. And she's like, hey, Habibi, congratulations for the Lions season over. I'm proud of you. We are leaving now for home. Love you, love you. She knows, look, man, I haven't even shaved. I haven't even trimmed. Usually, you guys see, I trim. I've been so busy that after Thursday, Friday, I will take a couple days off. At least, like, in my world, a couple days off. I went hard this year. 1,000 blogs, 100 podcasts. Jesus. But I love it. Mr. Nuga, love you. Detroit Sports Ragecast. I'm not raging. And actually put it this way. You know you're a fan of this. Put it this way. It's not a ragecast. It's I want to win so bad that losing makes you angry. Losing makes you frustrated. It makes you feel empty. What's the purpose of all this? It's not raging. It's conversating. It's evaluating. It's processing. Detroit Sports Processor. I got a lot of questions in my head. I don't listen. How can you look at this face and say that guy's raging? Yeah, I might yell, but I'm happy. Do I look Chaldean? Good question. No, I am not Chaldean. 2001 Toyota Tundra. I am 100% Lebanese. 100%. Mom and dad came over. 100% Habibi. But the Habibis love the Chaldeans. If you notice, a lot of Lebanese men like dating Chaldean women. Are you putting two and two together? The Lebanese men like the Chaldean women. To marry them, to experiment. Hey, listen, you got to be Arabic to understand. You'll understand right away. My wife's not Chaldean. She's definitely hearing me screaming through the microphone. Well, why? Like, wait, what? Why do Lebanese men like Chaldean women? Right. I've never met a Lebanese man who wasn't nice or woman. Exactly. We're all nice, but we want to win. We're competitive. And who's happy losing? Like, who's happy? Guys, any NFL team can go 60 years without winning. And here's the best part about when people say that I'm raging. No worries, Phil. All good to ask. How can you be satisfied when so many people are happy being slappies when you've never won anything, and you have groups of people that just have this undying hope that it's going to happen, and it's never happened in 60 years. And there are people like me who say, well, wait a minute. Let's just look at two groups of people that have won. The Eagles and ultra-aggressive Howie and Les Snead, where your general manager comes from. Copy what they do. It seems to have worked. And they're like, no. Brad does it the way it works. Who's never done it before. Brad is the hero. Brad took you from irrelevant to winning some games. Brad teased y'all, made you blind to the point of the goal, which is win a Super Bowl. He teased y'all with his plan, which was good, but his plan was only a B- plan. He gets extra credit in a curve because he gave himself bonus points for coming to an organization that never won and getting them to the playoffs and winning some games. You all are easily pleased, the slappies, where, oh my God, we won playoff games. Yes, that's cute. That's nice. But I want to see 1, 2, 3, 4 Super Bowls. And the Eagles have won a couple, and the Rams are seeming like they're an organization that does things. So you say to your fan base, hey, I like what they do. They're aggressive. They make moves. They're bold. They trade away quarterbacks. They do stuff. And you guys are like, nah, We like the guy that brought us from hell to mediocrity, to just being in the dance. You were happy being in the club. A guy like me is not happy just being in the club. You know, the club has tiers. You can sit in the back and be like this and dance like this, or you can be in the VIP lounge and you have all the space in the world and all the friends with you and popping 50 bottles. Wouldn't you rather do that? Some of you guys just want to get in the club and be recognized. That's all. I'm not happy until the Lions win a Super Bowl. That's it. It's a simple philosophy. And I'm not even reinventing the wheel. I'm just not like the Slappies got so in love with their general manager that they forgot they didn't win shit. That they got close and they were like, oh, but then people said, well, there's a step you got to take. The Slappies fell in love with third and fourth gear. They don't ever want to go back. They're like, it hurts too much not to be in the playoffs. I would go 10 steps back if it led to one Super Bowl in 2028. I would go 1-16 next year if it got you the number one pick and you tell me 2028 brings a Super Bowl. That's all. It's not that difficult. The Lions are just now inching toward a little bit of relevancy. But they haven't done nothing. They've done nothing to deserve the level of undying support where people write articles that it's going to be easy to win 3 games in a row. It's easy. They use the word easy. They printed it's going to be easy. And the Lions the Lions go from their history to 2007 Giants, and they're going to get to they sold you that. I couldn't believe someone would try to sell you that. And that produces a frustration. That is the reason why people are mad, not because of me. I told you after the Eagles game, y'all ain't winning the Super Bowl. That doesn't look like no Super Bowl team. Habibi speaks facts from For the Hits. That's why he's the best in the game. Brad's job is on the line. Don't care what anybody says. He needs to go balls deep. Pun intended. You got to be aggressive. Fortune favors the bold. I hope this setback produces a general manager who will be aggressive in all phases. This will change. I feel like this year, Brad Holmes will morph from a upper echelon college evaluator to full Howie Roseman, Les Snead GM. He's got to add the whole repertoire. Because guess what? The misses piled up in 23, 24, 25. His first half of 23 until Branch, he had 4 picks. He got to Branch and a couple more. Then the next 4 were really rough. And then 24 and 25 did not give you the depth you needed. The 23 draft is really crazy because there's 4 really great picks and there's 4 picks that you're not using. It's wild. And then 24 and 25 have not given you the depth that if you hit on the second half of 23 and 24, that's 6 players that could have been here. 6 balling for you to win a Super Bowl. 6 players. Hendon Hooker, Broderick Martin, Ennis Rakestraw, Sione Vaki, Giovanni Manu. That's 5 off the top of my head. You need instant impact ballers. That would have got, if you would have had 5 draft picks, Kobe Turner, Puka Nacua, you don't think you win a Super Bowl? I feel cheated. That's how I feel. I feel cheated. So then I don't understand when you feel cheated and you feel robbed of a Super Bowl, then in my mind, the attitude is not to then become even more of a slappy. That is crazy to me. I respect it. I actually kind of really would like to know the deep, dark level of sports denial these guys are in. Because if I told you, you could have had 6 players that would have been depth for this team, you could have won a Super Bowl in 2025. How do you then just go, well, 2026, Brad Holmes is just going to wave his magic wand and the offensive line is going to be fixed. He's going to wave his magic wand and he's going to get all these defensive linemen. That is the level of stupid things that people would say that would elicit anger next year if you don't win a Super Bowl. I'm cautious. I feel like they're going to get to 10 wins. I feel like for me, the next evolution for the Lions is they're going to grow and climb, maybe get back to the playoffs, maybe get to the Super Bowl, but this organization has to taste a Super Bowl loss. Like the Pistons. They got there, they climbed, they had to deal with the Bulls. They got to deal with some more adversity. And then once they hit that level of they got close and tasted it, then the football gods will say, "Okay, you've dealt with enough." And then they'll win a Super Bowl. That's all. That's my thesis as to how I act the way I act. I cannot I feel cheated. I cannot then double down and become more of a slappy when I feel cheated. That's weird. For you guys know, my wife gave me the damn. She's like, "You say a lot on there." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm open. I'm an open book." Yeah, Lebanese men like Chaldean women. You- and Chaldean women like Lebanese men. Let me put it that way. uh, One day when the big sponsor comes, I'll just say it right into the microphone. Mama's boy. Hell yeah, I am. Hell yeah, I am. That lady, real fast, share the story. She didn't speak a lot of English, and she knew I had a love of sports starting in '86. I was about 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, around the World Cup. She saw my growing love of sports. And then in '87, I was 8 years old. She found a way in her own way. Like for us, going from 8 Mile and Gratiot to Tiger Stadium was like a big adventure. That lady found a way to get 4 tickets and drive down and find parking and walk to Tiger Stadium so that I could see the Tigers and the Blue Jays in their final stretch there. It was enticing. It was an aphrodisiac. It was amazing. The Tigers beat the Blue Jays late in that season in '87. They were in a playoff situation, and then I think they got to the Twins. That roar, I'll never forget it. The roar of the crazy Tiger fan in '87 when they played Toronto in Tiger Stadium. And I always remember my mom asking, how do I, like, literally maybe block by block, how do I get to Michigan and Trumbull? How do I get here? How do I do this? Where do I park? She had no clue, but she battled because she knew I loved it. So yeah, she texts, I read it. She fostered the love of sports. My mom. My dad, on the other hand, my dad is hilarious. My dad maybe is the other side of me that you call the rage baiter. He watched one football game. He watched the '91 Lions game against the Commanders, and he's like, "These guys are losers. They're never going to win. What the hell's wrong with you?" He said, "Quit sports." He said, "All this town is in a rage for this shit." And he watched one NFL game, and he said, "This shit's a waste of my time. This doesn't make me any money." He's like, "Quit this shit." He watched one, and I don't even know if he watched the whole game. He said, "What the hell is this shit?" He's like, "Lions are losers." And he quit, and he never watched it again, and he never cared. He's like, "Why do you care so much?" So he was a worker, but I had a love of sports, and maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. But he quit the Lions after one NFC championship loss, and that was that. Anakin, bless you, bless your heart. Appreciate you being a fan and listening in. Borders closed. No, luckily I'm a full American. No ice for me. And hopefully none of our listeners have any of those kind of problems. Lion forever, you're funny. Magic, great comment. Doc, it seems like Brad is tied to Goff. I don't think it's wise to entertain the idea of a new quarterback until the whole regime is gone. No, here's the problem. Okay, here's the deal. And you can win games with Jared Goff. To me, I'm just star hunting. I'm a star effer, as you would say. My eyes watched Patrick Mahomes. My eyes saw Tom Brady. So now I want that. That's what I want. I'm a star effer. That's just the way it is. I'm a star quarterback effer. That's what I am. That's what I want. I want the universal MVP quarterback that's just the best in the world. I want the best of the best. And the best of the best has to be able to extend plays. Now, that's not going to happen. Probably that's a pipe dream. That's slappy star effort stuff that I got to get over. But I can still tell you that your quarterback, in the face of pressure, has problems. Brian Flores, again, showed the world how to attack Jared Goff. You don't just get to magically say, we have an offensive line. You had to see one. I mean, guys, let's keep it real. Brad, you guys are just like magically wave your wand and they're going to stay healthy and they're going to produce and everything's going to be great for Jared Goff. It's going to be tough. I think Jared Goff has to groom the next guy. He's got to teach. He's got to pay forward. And if he wins the Super Bowl, great, but he's got to teach the next generation. I'm sorry. You got to teach. And to me, the next Lions quarterback has to be an Aaron Rodgers type. He sits on his ass for 3 years, never sees the field. We never call for him to play. Jared Goff leads to whatever happens. And then in 3 years, the next guy comes in as a seasoned backup, has learned for a couple years. Now, I don't think they're going to do it this year, but I do think in 2027, there could be a name you could mold. It's got to be, and to me, it's hard because just looking at the college landscape, there's guys with good arms, but not good size, 6'1". There's guys with big arms, but no mobility. And there's guys that aren't on winning programs that could develop, but it's a long shot. So yeah, Goff is your best option, but there's options to develop. I think Chambly is real intriguing, but he's 6'1". And I'm crazy enough to say I'll trade for Mendoza. I'll go all the way up to number 1. I'll give up 2 first rounders. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? You don't make the playoffs, you go 9-8. What's the worst that can happen? One Republic is delusional since 81. Yes, starting next week, me and Emmett are going to do a draft podcast every week. We'll talk about the past. And we'll talk about the draft and moving forward. Oh, Rick Baird, how's that taste? How'd that L taste? Patna? Lions are back to where they belong, bottom feeders. How'd that L taste? Sorry, Dan Campbell put the formula out on how to beat Dennis Allen, but so did the 49ers. Sorry, mate. Bear down because you're losing pretty early in the playoffs. That's not a championship defense, and you know it. For the 550 people in here, like the stream. Please hit like for me and smash the emojis. You can become a member. Super chats get you to the front of the line. Thank you so much to David. Super sticker, $2.99, just for listening in. Shout out to you. David Halliburton. That's awesome. Shout out to you. Many blessings on a great 2026. And hopefully the Lions rebound. Maybe it's Raheem Morris. Maybe that's the first move. Bring it in. Do you guys like a change that needs to take place? Smash the emojis. I love it. Wow. Lion Forever gifted 30 memberships. Wow. Anakin Skygore with an early super chat. Another shout out to Daniel Jacob. User gave a super chat. Lion Forever, 30 gifted memberships and 2 super chats. I'm definitely humbled and grateful that you did that. Amazingly generous, Lion Forever. No, One Republic. I know. Thank you. I'm humbled by that. Great job, Doc. No bullshit. And please don't change. We need people like you to hold us accountable. You better be here if Goff wins the Super Bowl next year, being like, told you, fool. Star effer. Listen, It happens. You just who doesn't watch Patrick Mahomes and goes, I don't want that. I want all the attention. I want 50 media members to show up at Allen Park. I want where the guy shows up and he's like, Jared Goff went to Chicken Shack at Mount. He went to Chicken Shack at Mountain Hall, and that lady might not have been his wife. And it's like it's a team reporter, and he's got to come out and be like, "Yeah, it was at Chicken Shack. We're doing an interview. We're doing the Chicken Shack interview." I want the headlines. I want the whole thing. The fur coat, the Joe Namath fur coat. Am I wrong? Mishanuga, Doc, you care more than anyone. Keep it up. Thank you. I think that's where you can see it. Shout out to One Republic. And again, please don't feel afraid. If you have a completely different viewpoint than me, share it. We'll talk about it. And smash the emoji so people see it. Reversion to the mean. The one thing line slappies and pessimists have in common is they'll both be like, told you so, when it finally happens. It's not told you so. It's the idea that it's the whole principle. How can you double down on See, my thinking is in the realm of normal human reactions and emotions, once you identify something and it doesn't happen and you identify it again and again, the idea is not to triple down on being a slappy. The idea is to get a little mad and question more. Question more. Now, maybe myself, I questioned Dan Campbell after one football game. But tell me that Packers game didn't scare people like this offense don't look right. It looks busted. I feel like there should be more panicked people. It's 5 years. And also, there's now the 5-year rule. No quarterback head coach combination has ever in the history of Everdom won a Super Bowl if it didn't happen in 5 years. This was year 5. The 5-year rule has now started. The clock has started. It's 120 minutes old. It's never happened. So if the Lions win with Goff and Campbell, it would be all-time historic. It would be the first time a quarterback and head coach won a Super Bowl after 5 years for the first time together in the history of the Super Bowl era. In the history. So am I cherry picking that? It's never happened. So that's why I just say that let's make history. Let's make history. Steve is like, I need to talk about Goff. Goff finished second in passing yards to Stafford. Does he stink? Let me tell you this. Go look at the yak yards for the Lions. Goff dumps it to Amon-Ra for 6 yards. Amon-Ra takes it to 17 yards. Goff gets the bonus 11 and looks like an OG. Steve, I'm going to need you to look at the air yards. I'm going to need you to look at a couple more games against the Eagles, games against the Vikings. Look at games where there's some importance. Yes, Steve, they dropped 50 on the Bears. That looks good. But again, just look at it conceptually. If Goff drops 50 on the Bears and then 10 against the Vikings, but has a 600 yards against the Bears in week 2 and has 100 yards against the Vikings, he averages 350, but the Vikings game was relevant. And your eyes can tell you he could have played better. Against the Vikings, people aren't telling you he has the ability. They said to me that Goff has the ability to call into any plays he wants. Against the Vikings, Goff was running into pressure where there were plays where I want to describe it properly. Goff drops back. The pocket is sort of collapsing, not horrible, but there is a space to the left he can move up into, and there's a space to the right that has lanes he can go into. His feet get happy, and he runs himself into the defender. No bueno. Bueno play is run to the big open parcel of land to your right. You might have ran, all of a half a mile an hour, but you would have got a yard out of it. But Goff, when he's pressured in an environment that gets chaotic, like the road, he finds the pressure, which means he goes down when he shouldn't. That the normal pocket passer also could evade by throwing the football, releasing the football, release the Kraken. And it happened a handful of times. Okay, so when you watch film, watch a little closer. Yes, the offensive line sucked. But guess what? It happens. The defensive ends in the National Football League can sack the quarterback in 2 seconds. I know you don't see that in Detroit because they're lumbering and they don't do that. But when you get pressured, you have to have better answers when you're making $50 million. It's not all Goff's fault, but he's not absolved of all issues that he creates himself. Watch the film closer. Rewind the pressure and see, are there open lanes? Are there open receivers? If he just stood there for a nanosecond longer. See? Okay. And luckily, people say, okay, John, yes, you are loud in the way you say things, but they can understand, okay, you are watching film. You are seeing it. Ran into pressure versus Pitt, too. Yes, it happens. It's a secret. It's not that difficult. Opposing defensive ends are not really looking for sacks. They're just looking to get him off of his spots. That's the secret. That's the Brian Flores secret. Find ways to get pressure, to get Goff off of his spot. And if you do that, you bring his percentage down. So, again, I can make stats look again. So you have the Goff stat. I just gave you the 5-year rule. Who's right? That's the beauty of this game. Who's right? I just gave you a big one. You can tell me DVOA, advanced analytics, sacks, EPA, whatever. You can tell me a bunch of phony baloney numbers. They're all created to tell the story that you want to tell. I'm telling the 5-year rule story, but it's the same thing. Watch the game. You guys are smart enough to figure out what's going on. The journalists need the facts to tell their story. I can just watch the game and tell you the story. I watched one 60-minute football game with the fear that I had of the new coordinator. And I said, guys, something's up. I said, Dan, I watched one game, one film session. And I said, Dan, go back to last year. To his face. I hope that's what you know, the guy that's talking to you. One 60-minute contest. I said, Dan, whatever that was, go back to last year. Like, just. And I think he looked at me then and he's like, we are not going to be speaking that much longer. He's like, you raised the alarm after one game? Yes, I did. One game. One 60-minute contest, and I panicked. Anybody else getting whacked? What's going on in this Ravens game? Let's check it out. Live update here. Probably going to go another 10 minutes. This was fun. 10-3, another riveting contest. I'd rather be doing this. And plus, I also had the benefit of a whole preseason where the offense didn't look good. I shared with you on a daily podcast, that offense don't look good. Guys, that offense don't look right. That offense looks wrong. I said that offense looks wrong. Now, let me give you my early free agent predictions, and I'll get out of here. Let's see. The Lions have yet to announce what's going on next week. Dun, 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 dun. Still no announcement of next week. Let me give you my early free agent predictions. Early free agent predictions. This is on Lions NSI. Got to find it through the Google machine because there's been so many stories written since. Boom. Written on December 28th. Let me share it. Who do you want back? This will be my last topic of the day. And then any super chats, get them in. And I really do appreciate you, Mishanuga. I do care a lot. For someone to do 3-4 podcasts a week, 5-6 stories a day, go out and drive an hour to Allen Park, back and forth, 40 miles away. That is awesome. And I'm a Detroit guy. I am a Detroit guy through and through. I ain't no Flex Seal fan. I'm delivering the truth to what I believe to be the truth. The truth is the hill is harder to climb than what it's portrayed to be. The core is not as good as we think it is. It's not as bad as maybe many think it is either. But it's got to get better. It's got to get better. Thank you to the 500 people listening in. And again, I don't know how you look at this face, this beautiful Lebanese face, and say, you're rage baiting. It's like they don't watch. They just read words and go, this is what you're doing for attention. No, I believe it. Because in 2013, I screamed the same thing about Stafford. And I warned you guys, I didn't know that Stafford was going to quit on y'all. I said, guys, it is my humble opinion that Stafford after year 5, and naturally, no 5-year rule. Naturally, I said after 5 years, I said, guys, my doubts are there that Stafford's going to win a Super Bowl with this team. And you all came back with, well, if you build around him, he can win one. I said, I don't care what your formula is. In Detroit, that's not happening. And then in 2017, I really got yelled at when I was like, don't give him $25 million. You're dumping money. They're like, he's the best ever. I'm like, go rookie. Just go rookie. You're not winning. Then he quit on y'all and he wins the next year. And you guys went with, yay, look at us. He's good. He's a good quarterback. Your slapping has got you so wound up that you went, yay, he win with the Super Bowls with another team. Dude, I just got more pissed. It doesn't matter. Can he win? Is he good enough to win elsewhere? That just also crapped on your own organization. That made me more mad. Come on, man. Now, I hope Goff doesn't do that. That's why I asked Goff. I said, Goff, do you still trust the Lions? Mishanuga, I can see through your rage and see through your true passion. There you go. It's just passion. Yeah, let's be positive. It's passion. It's a wanting desperately to feel what I felt in 2000 when the Spartans won. To get that feeling when you're in Tiger Stadium as a little boy and 40,000 people are screaming their head off as you beat Toronto. It's intoxicating. I don't know how you don't. Cheers are intoxicating. Winning is intoxicating. And when you're around it and you've seen it at the highest level of whatever you're in, and then you see the Red Wings win in 97 on the day I graduate, and you party on Gratiot till 2 a.m., I saw things I wasn't supposed to be seeing. 9 Mile in Gratiot to 15 Mile in Gratiot in the Red Wings era I was 18. I grew up real fast. We saw him. When the Red Wings won, it was an amazing, euphoric party. And anything that veers from that is not as fun. So yes, thank you. It's passion. You guys know it's passion. I love it. Yeah, I saw it, man. Gratiot was awesome. Honk. Honk. That is thankfully there was no cell phones. Thankfully there's no cell phones because there would have been some photos taken that would have got me in trouble. Be like, nestle your best friend, Doc. May I nestle? You're like, this podcaster's a nestler. May I nestle in your bosoms? Yes, yes, hell yeah. They're like, yeah. I was like, winning does this? Yes, winning does everything. Winning is amazing. Winning does a wonderful thing. And hopefully for the Lions, it'll produce that euphoric state on Woodward or wherever the party will be. All right. Make sure you smash the emojis. Love it. Thank you, Mishanuga. Man, you guys are great. Thank you to the again, Lion Forever again for the 30 gifted memberships again today. All right. You guys are great. The audience grew. Got about 550 people. Smash the like button. And I'm about to share my screen here. This is what the website looks like. Share screen. Boom. This is written on the 26th by yours truly. All you got to do. And also, too, if you want, here's something free you can do. When you visit, okay, when you visit our site, because Google has all these crazy algorithms, you click on this and you add Sports Illustrated as a trusted source. You give the email, and what happens is when you go to Google and you type in Lions information, we'll be in the mix too with the others. Because sometimes, a bunch of clickbait artists, the ones that say Jared Goff got traded, and then their story is a bunch of nonsense. The TWSS people that are like, Jared Goff got traded, and then their story is speculating that Jared Goff could get traded. Nonsense. So if you add us on Google as a trusted source, then the fine Lions on SI content will find you. So here's my early list. Here's a list of free agents. And tell me what you think. I'll keep blowing it up here. List of free agents. It's a lot. DJ Reader, I think, is gone. Anceloni, I think, is gone. I think Amik comes back, but he's got to be in a reserve nickel role. You need Ennis Rakestraw to come back. You need Terry and Arnold to come back. You need a free agent, and you need to draft a cornerback. You need 2 new cornerbacks too. I think Khalif Raymond comes back for 1 more year. The dude is just a team player. How do you leave that guy off this roster if they start winning? Levi, we all know, departs. Roy Lopez was the best addition that Brad Holmes did make. Upper level reserve will back up Tyleik Williams and play. Davenport, I think we know, departs. Josh Pascal departs. I think Grant Stewart returns. Daniel Thomas, I think, returns. Al-Quadin Muhammad, it might be pricey. That might be the one that's the toughest. Al-Quadin Muhammad, guys, do you pay him $8 to $10 million? I think someone's going to offer it. He had double-digit sacks. But I think if they can get him for 6 and he likes the environment as he teaches Ahmed Hassanin and another draft pick, I think this guy fits. Avonte Maddox got a pick. You want to bring him back. I think Coyote Awosika departs. I think your backup will be Kyle Allen again. He seems to fit the room, but I want to add another quarterback, whether it be a veteran or a player to develop. I'm in the search. I'm only 1 week in to searching for the quarterback. Jalen Mills, the veteran, leaves. Zach Cunningham leaves. Mollett leaves. Zeke Turner. Tristan Colon was okay, but I think you can continue to develop others. Miles Frazier should get an opportunity. I think Dan Skipper's time is up in Detroit. Ferkser, I think, is somebody that could land a practice squad spot or an opportunity. The team likes him, trusts him, and I think he's got an ally in Dan Campbell. Rock Ya-Sin did the job. He should come back. Jamarco Jones got hurt. You never really heard from him. Didn't have the impact. You need another veteran like Hubbard. I don't know if Jamarco Jones gets an opportunity. That one might be a debatable one too. Clearly, you need Tom Kennedy. He's a glue grit guy that always battles. Shane Zylstra returns. Trevor Nowaski returns. Tyrus Wheat, I think they want to keep developing, returns. Jake Bates returns, but needs competition. He's not had the best year. Rodrigo returns. Neese returns. Sailors and Whiteside. Whiteside could be that cornerback that you maybe give more of an opportunity next year. So that is my list. And I have it here. What do you think of my list? Let's start with the big ones. Do you bring back Alex? I think it's done. Do you bring back Alex Anzalone? Thumbs up, thumbs down. I think it's bye. I think you give the. I mean, listen. The media voted Jack Campbell the Good Guy Award. What does that tell you? Jack Campbell stood up in front of the media and was accountable. Jack Campbell, I think, is a leader of the defense. You got to give him support. What do you think about Amik Robertson? American boxer. I like Kennedy. Everybody likes Kennedy. Good question, Stephen Wright. If Raymond stays, how will Tesla get more snaps? I think Raymond is going to shift more into the returner role, but also just in case something happens to Tesla, he's a good third option. Good competition. You need some wide receivers in camp. You don't just have 3 receivers. You have 6, 7 sometimes. Maybe Lovett takes his spot. Maybe. It's a good question. Tesla should be a starter. I think that Raymond goes into the year as wide receiver 4. And Tesla plays 80% of snaps every game. Locked in. Done. Keep Al-Quadin Muhammad? Yeah, it's a good question, Rogers. I think Muhammad will be too expensive. I think so too. He might have got himself 10 milli. 40 phenom. Davenport gone. What? Man, if Brad really wants to rile it up, he'll light the internet on fire. He'll be like, guys, this was an anomaly. We had injuries. We're good. We just got to bring the band back together one more time. Could he do that out of spite and just be fibbing? Just walk up there and be like, guys, we're good. We looked at it. It was just an anomaly with all these injuries. We feel like, guys, remember 15-2 with all those injuries this year? We just got to make some fine-tuned points. Could you imagine if he does that? If he just doubles down? He'd be like, John, what's wrong? Be like, I'm in shock. No, he's got to be contrite. Bosom buddies. You know what podcaster do you know uses the word bosom? And can't keep a straight face. Nestled his head. Tell the story to Doc. It started in 97. His love of championships became quite apparent in 97 when the Red Wings won their first Stanley Cup after years of disappointment. And Mr. Macaroon graduated high school and went to a graduation party where his friends were incapacitated in the bathtub after ingesting quite a bit of Jägermeister. But Mr. Macaroon, with his wits, said, "We got a party to watch after the game," and cheered and found his way to Gratiot. And in that Gratiot, Cruz found an avenue to enjoy all the fruits of the labor of cheering and being sad when Toronto eliminated the Red Wings and the Red Wings were swept by the New Jersey Devils. He found his way and nestled into the warm bosom of his friends, his newfound friends, on 10 Mile and Gratiot in the great city of East Point, which turned into Roseville. And then he found his way to 14 Mile and 15 Mile and turned back around, and the blasting horns and the things that he was yelling out, not suitable for work, but very funny. But his message was received kindly by a lot of people. Right? With the Lifetime music, right? La la la, Be like, Doc, I was 18. What'd you think I was asking for? A date? And the fine East Side ladies obliged and activated in him his pregame before he went to Michigan State. He went to training camp in 97 in June, and then he graduated to Michigan State, which allowed him to grow into the big time. It sure did. Because Michigan State from 97 to 2001, I cannot even reveal what the hell I saw in 4 years. But you think I'm a rage baiter? I went to Michigan State for 4 years in '97 to 2001. Do you think I went through that experience and came out a grumpy man? I came out a very happy man. The wonder years. Oh, I didn't wonder. I discovered the discovery years. I discovered things that could occur. The Discovery Channel. It was these are things that they just go on the Discovery Channel. There's no way you can't look at that. I went to college. Whew. You think he's gonna blame injuries? Yeah, like I said, I'm a happy man. But yeah, I want championships. I want wins. I want that euphoria of winning. It's one or done. That's it. That's it. Oh, okay. You think? Let me tell you this right now. I want you to know this about me before I get out of here. To my right, I have a signed photo of Tom Izzo. I sat across from the man when they let me in, and he had a good team. And this was maybe 8 years ago. And I said, "Don't be scared. Just ask." And I said, that's when I said, okay, can you do it? My heart was pumping. I'm like, this is Tom Izzo. Like, I adore the man. Like, he gave me the best sports memory. I said, you got a job to do. You're working for the Detroit Sports Podcast. You own it. You got to ask him because you're going to report what he said. So I looked at him and I spit it out. I said, listen, do you need the second title to validate your career? Because a lot of people say that the one is not enough. And for a moment, I thought laser was going to come out of his eyes and zap me off the planet. For a moment, it felt like a moment, and I thought he got kind of stern jawed, and I said, "What did I do?" I almost regretted it. Then he thought about it. He got thin jawed. He knew that was a question somebody could ask, and it was me. I went to the school. I adore the man, but I asked him directly, "Do you need a second title?" And then he answered it. He said, listen, I know that's for you guys to decipher. I've done this, I've done that. And he gave an answer. And I had so much respect for him because he definitely was jarred by the question, but he answered it like a man. And he said, really, that's, I put together a program. I'd like to think that through the he listed all the positives, all the appearances. He answered the question like a man. And I have a lot of respect for him. And then he did it again too recently. Because now I don't care. Like now, this was 8 years ago when I first started. Now, Greg Campy sitting right next to him, and I go to Greg Campy. I go, look at that video. Go on my Twitter page. Look at how Tom looks at me. I go to Greg because Greg Campy is sitting right next to Tom. Do you think Tom has a team that can win the title this year? And Greg looks at me and goes, he's right here. Like, I'm not going to answer that. And then he gave a good answer. And then Tom is like, Tom gives the what the F look to me. I have it on tape. But listen, at this point in time now, 10 years in, 15 years in, I don't care. I know what to ask. I'm going to ask it. I don't have no consequence. I don't care. You got to ask. But Greg Campy also taught me, you just ask. However they react, you just ask. That's the philosophy. Don't be scared. If anyone listens to this, gets into the media, just ask. Don't be scared. Michinuga, I got tear gas at Bilbo's. It was great. I was at Cedar Village from midnight until 5 a.m. It was amazing. Michinuga, were you part of the Munfield riots or the riots before the 97 year? There were two big ones. I think there was one near Cedar Village when there was the couch burning and the big one, and then there was another big one when Munfield got the tailgate taken away. There were two big fire burning riots in my tenure there. It was crazy. It was just crazy. It was just craziness. You took our beer away. You took our spot. Fire. The other one was just, I think people got drunk and wild and just lit up the city. Joe, thank you. Thanks for the show, Doc. Great information. Thank you. Yep, 2 hours. I think that's good for me. I think that's good that you guys got some entertainment. Go back and listen. Someone put in the comment the question that I said was good. Hour and 9 minutes in. Again, what'd you think of the loss? Did it make you happy? Like I said, I was indifferent until the fourth quarter. It's cool they won. It does really nothing for me. I just hope that they get to the 16th pick. It's a team that got there, got to 9 wins. It's fine. 9-8. It does nothing to me. You're not in the playoffs. So to me, it's not 4 straight years of a winning season. That means jack to me. It's NFC Championship game, first round exit, no playoffs. Now you got to fix your attitudes. You got to get right. The offseason starts tomorrow. One last check of the email and see if I can get you guys that information about the Lions tomorrow. Are they sending it? Oh, here it is. Let's see what we know. All right. Oh, yep. Here it is. All right. All right. All right. So, scoop. So, clearly, Dan tomorrow in the locker room. Dan Campbell and Locker tomorrow. And unfortunately, I have to put this time down, which is the truth, for Brad. But I can tell you this. That's the day. That's the day. It's getting closer. So, with that said, you now know the day. And tomorrow we talk to the players. Well, real fast. Which players should I listen? I mean, it's tough. It's sad. There's a lot of boxes. Yeah, it's tough. A lot of locker cleanout day sucks. It's like the official end of summer, kind of thing. You talk to the players. A lot of the questions are, do you want to come back? A lot of the stories from the year. What injuries did you deal with? Maybe guys that were hurt for a while. That was on IR. We'll talk a little bit. It's a tough day. So you'll get that information. We'll sprinkle it out. Decker, Skipper. We'll talk more to those players. Yeah, locker cleanout sucks. You get an hour. Wow. 45 minutes, man. Tomorrow is the day that we talk to Dan Campbell and the players. And I put in the chat when your favorite executive will speak. But thank you guys for listening and tuning in. You got the free agents to learn about and debate. Recapping the victory. What do you want to hear from the general manager this week? The Lions could draft 16th or 17th. Listen, you own Ben Johnson. That's cool. Shout out to Emmett. He said the Lions were the first time he covered a winning team. He's covered the Spartans. For the first time in my sports writing career, I covered a team with a winning record. So I'm going to tell him, thanks for being part of the team. I'm going to spell, of course, thanks is spelled wrong. Thanks for being part of our team. That's cool. And I'm thankful to give a guy like that an opportunity. That guy's cool. Emmett Matavoski, Christian Boer. Oh, man. Colton Pouncey, go check out his ex. Looks like Taylor Decker might have teared up, but it's the end. Check it out. It's tough. It's a good question. Colton asked, Ask Lions Taylor Decker to walk us through what he went through. I will check that out. Yeah, it's got to suck, man. When it's the end of the season, you've put your body through a hell. That's what it's like. You can check the great work from Colton out. He said he needs to get away before deciding the playing future. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. He needs to think about things and we'll figure it out. So that means maybe tomorrow he won't talk. We'll see if he has some more opportunities. You'll see there's a 2-minute video on X, and go check it out on Colton's page. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. That's the recap show for this episode. We recapped the win, what you thought, the draft pick information. You now know the schedule. Tomorrow, maybe in the afternoon, we'll just go over the opponents. Quickly recap what I learned from the locker room. And clearly what will happen is probably do a podcast Monday, a couple days off. Brad Holmes will speak. We'll recap that and then do a podcast fully evaluating what I thought about it. And then, so probably Monday and Thursday will be the broadcast schedule, but you never know. If there's something interesting that pops up or I want to talk about, we will address it. But first and foremost, thank you guys for tuning in for the first full year of video podcasts that I did. Did almost 100 of them in 4 months. So it was a good run, a very good run. To see a couple thousand people on a holiday listening in is crazy. It's mind-blowing. Thank you for the trust. Thank you for the debates. Thank you to the haters. Thank you to those that like what you're listening to. Again, I shared with why the haters make me smile, and they can never really make me mad because, like I said, the haters actually grow the audience for free. It's wild. And for you guys to support and understand what it's about. Those that listen understand. Shout out to Xavier. Shout out to those sticking in here. One Republic, Phil C, Gumby, Lions Forever for the gift memberships. Darnell Blanton. I think so. I think he's a veteran leader. I think that he deserves a spot. He's a good player. I like him. I think he fits. He's a contributor, and he still brings it. But he's blocking Tom Kennedy. Darn it. Shanny TT. Thanks, Doc. You're a real one. No, you're a real one for listening. 515 Earl. Gumby. Dolo Dynamite Joe. One Republic. No. Yeah. No doctors that have parts touch me. I am specific. All my doctors are female. All of them. All of them. They care more. And trust me, my gut tells me that females are the best doctors for some reason. No. Except Dr. Nandy did my colonoscopy. All clear. Because he was on TV. I was like, okay, he can't mess me up too bad. Thank you guys for smashing the emojis, the new members that got gifted. Welcome, welcome. Go watch the videos that are member only. They come out next week. Thank you to Mishanuga for the super chat, David Halliburton for the super sticker, Lion Forever, the gifted memberships, the super chats, user, Daniel Jacob, thank you, and Anakin. All right, everybody, thank you. Go have a good evening. Make sure you smash the like button for the doc, comment, and everybody, make sure you have a couple laughs. It's a 9-8 season. We went through it together. I hope you felt that you got what you were looking for listening to this. And you hope that, hey, if you were in the room, that you would conduct yourself like I did. And if you feel like it should have been different, more professional, less of this, more of that, let me know. I'm interested. I'm always going to try to develop. But at this point, I am who I am. I want to be who I am. And it's not rage baiting. It's not clickbaiting. It's speak the truth, speak boldly about the things that you believe in passionately, do it as much as possible, and let the chips fall where they may. I would like to think that more people know me, the truth version of it, than think that I'm a clickbaiting fool looking for attention. But if you think that, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Because if this is what 25 is like, what the hell's 26 going to bring? Let's go through it together and find out. This is made possible thanks to OnSI, a great sports partner. I represent the Detroit Sports Podcast, which was founded in 2013. And, podcasting is the greatest platform to express yourself in the world. And it's a media entity. It's an opportunity to cover sports in the best way possible. Thanks for letting me be a part of it. And let's talk tomorrow after locker clean out and hopefully see what becomes of it, and more coverage at Lions on SI. Free. Give it a click. All I can say is I'm not an acquired taste. Just if you see something, click it. Tell me what you think. And tell me it's like, okay, you know what? I could read this on a given day. And if you disagree, tell me why. Xavier, Detroit family, shout out. Shout out to all the chat members, to everybody out there. It's been fun. Thank you for the gift of the 2 hours. I really do enjoy it. It's a big part of my life. Podcasting is a huge part of my life. I'm a red hat wearing guy. Let's talk on Monday. I look forward to it. Bye, everybody.